Well, hi guys. Hope you can hear me. Um, so I will do another reading on Friday, like I promised. But I'm gonna give you guys a special hi. I'm gonna give you guys a little special St. Patrick's Day reading in honor of my grandmother Melly. So Melly Kennedy was my paternal grandmother. Um, I never got to meet her. She passed when my dad was 12. So of kidney disease. So um, here we go. I was trying to choose what cards, and I came across, I haven't used them in a minute. I've used them with you guys doing some stuff, but I'm doing the Avian Tarot today. One of the things that I chose to do too, I pulled some things and I almost use I have a deck that has, it's an oracle deck full of crystals and all of these different things. And I pulled the Flint card because Flint was my grandfather. Flint was her husband. So Flint was my dad's father. Melly was his second wife, and then followed a third wife after that. The first wife um, passed. She had two children, and then Melly was his second wife, and they had two more children together, and then there were more children born after that. So, kind of an interesting story of some things that go on in families. But interesting enough, during COVID, I got a phone call, someone looking for my son. At the time, my son was still in high school, and he had done Ancestry.com, and she was looking for someone because she was trying to trace down a story through that line of the family line. Um, she had spent the night and had grown up in and around my grandfather's home. Spent the night there multiple times, been there many times. Um, her family was good friends with my grandfather. She did not know about my dad or me or my brother or any of the some of the other family members that were there, even in the small town. Um, my grandfather never spoke of them. And so when my grandfather passed, it was really interesting. There were a lot of things that happened during that period of time. Um, I remember my dad showing up, and my dad is in this really nice suit, and no one knew who he was. Half the people did, but half didn't. So there were things that happened there. So today, in honor of this strange occurrences of things, I didn't even plan, but I started this, by the way, at 3:33, and I didn't mean to. That's just the way my day has gone. So welcome. Hi, how you going? I have a sweet little fairy here with me today. We bought this for my daughter many years ago, and she stayed with us. So I have her. I have a beautiful piece of petrified wood. I love that this looks like a fairy wing or like a butterfly's wing. I love that it uh, has so much beauty and endurance and has been here for a very long time. I have a really cool piece of broken green vintage tile. I have a piece of zreen, and I have this beautiful, beautiful moss agate heart. Welcome. All right. So I'm going to ask you to follow along with me for just a moment, and we will call in and just take a moment. So I'm going to take a breath in. And I'm going to release it. And I'm going to breathe again. Now, I'm not going to try to control this breath, and I don't want you to either. Just breathe in and breathe out. If you're in a space and you feel comfortable enough, you may lower your eyes, close them all the way, or just at a slight slit, or find a space to stare at on the wall. If you can't, that's fine as well. And start to notice there's a little coolness on the tip of your nose as you come and breathe in. And then when you exhale, it seems to be just slightly warmer. You breathe in, there's a little cool on the tip on the outside of your mouth, and a little warmer as you exhale. And you breathe in and you start to notice that your belly starts to fill. And you take in another nip of air because you just simply need it. And then you release it very gently. I'm going to invite you to take another breath in. Fill up your lungs. Take another one and another one. Let it roll out your mouth like a sigh. Okay. There you go. Okay, so I'm going to take our little singing bowl. I'm going to ring us in 3 times. You take a deep breath in and exhale. All right. So we have our selenite sword here sitting with us. I'm going to put this over here, and I'm going to lay this back here next to Flint. Okay, let's talk a little. So, shuffle. I'm wearing this really cool ring that I bought in Asheville many years ago with 2 of my best friends. They're like sisters to me. So, really cool, handmade green clay flower. Looks like a chrysanthemum. So, and I have on green snake earrings. If you can see them. I don't know if you can see. So I've got on these gold and crystal. I've got green eyes. So here we go. All right, so shuffle, shuffle, and shuffling. I'm going to tap these. 1, 2, 3. Let's see what we have to say for St. Patty's Day. All right, we're not going to do a long reading. We'll have a longer one on Friday. I'm going to travel to go see my mom. If you've been following along, I've been fighting bronchial things, upper respiratory. I finally feel halfway normal. I don't have all of my energy back. I'm still really tired, but you know, hey, I'm much better and I'm very grateful for that. Did one of those things where I had to clean the bathroom this morning, and instead of having to clean the bathroom, I was honored to clean the bathroom because I felt good enough to do it. So here we go. Thanks for following along with my babbling as well. All right, so let's see what we have. We're going to do whatever you're asking about. We're going to do a past situational. We are going to do what is going on presently. We are going to do what is going on future. And then we're going to do what is the overall, or what is your guidance card about it. So, so in the past position, you have 10 wands. Wands is in growth or movement. And this is the 10 of Wands. It's a secretary bird. And I know that 10 Wands is the very end of this particular suit. Interestingly enough, this is wild. I just looked down and the 9 of Wands is here. So 9 of Wands represents, this is a bunch of nightmares and like, oh, this is really bad. This is getting, and this is, you just can't carry anymore. So that's really wild that I looked down and that card was in that position, because I didn't plan that. That was really strange. So here we have 10 of Wands, and so you've moved past this 9 of Wands, and now you're into here. So this is where this is in this past. It's like, gosh, it's like I'm moving past these things, and it just like, ugh. So, you know, we're there. And so let's see what this secretary bird has to tell us. I'm not as familiar with this particular deck, so I'm interested to see what this bird has to say for us in itself. It says, upright, in the upright position is circumstance or chance has tasked the current with either more responsibility or additional multiple duties. Hard work is required to stay on schedule, but this situation is temporary. Putting in the time now might be of benefit later when those extra tasks are completed. Burnout is quite possible, so self-care is required. When the 10 of Wands appears, it specifically references taking on too much responsibility or unwarranted burdens. One must learn to choose what is necessary for personal growth and the fulfillment of important goals. Typically, the individual is unaware that they are accepting more than they can handle. The current tends to misinterpret dilemmas and stressors as testing character and pushing limits. When detrimental to one's health, it is time to step back and reevaluate. The first step towards gaining wisdom is to discard what is unnecessary in order to move forward. The secretary bird is a large terrestrial bird of prey with long legs and a crest of feathers. Its name was coined during the 18th century, referencing the clerks of the era tucking their quill pens into their wigs. Native to Africa, they reside in open and short grasslands so they can easily see and catch prey. When resting, they occupy their giant nest, often in acacia trees, which they've built over many seasons. Recalling the 10 of Wands lessons of pacing, the secretary bird is aware that their nest will be built steadily and sturdily in due time. So, in the past here, you have this thing that's been going on. I mean, like, I'm going to go ahead and read this 9 too. You have worried. You have worried. Now this is where you've been. You've just got to the point to where you were at burnout, exhaustion. You reached this. It was you were just there. No other choice. Burnout, exhaustion, done too much. Whether it was too much on your plate by yourself, or whether it was something you took on, or just circumstances of life. Sometimes it's just friggin' life. Okay, so there we are with that. So let's move forward and let's see what's going on. What says is going on at the present moment, which can give us a clue into where this is gone, where we are now, and then we'll move forward. So this card is flipping over, so we'll take it. Oh, the Hermit and the Wren. So the Hermit shows up for me a lot, but this doesn't really. That's because it just resonates, because I am the Hermit card. But this isn't really me. This isn't me in this reading. This is you. I'm not feeling and reading into something else. This is like there is protection here. So right now you're hiding, you're protecting, and that's okay. The Hermit is wise and knows that sometimes that in silence it can look down, they can look down and see things that they need to kind of the Hermit card and the Hangman card have a little in common in the fact that they're kind of like standing back. Like the Hangman card doesn't have the ability to move any further. It's like it is what it is, and it's universal hanging. The Hermit card is choice of standing back and letting things be and being wise enough to sit and understand it. When you're in the Hangman, you don't really have a choice. So let's see what shows up when we read what the Hermit has to say here. When the sweet little wren with its little, I love here, I'm going to show it to you again because I love, look at its sweet little light trying really hard. So let's see what we have here. Since we have a court card showing up in your present time. And this is a 9, by the way. So just, I don't know if that's going to mean anything to us in the end, but we'll see. It says, upright. The current is self-reflecting and finding truth within themselves, coming to a resting point within their journey. Interesting enough, coming to a resting point. You've come from here in the past, and now you're like exhausted, and you don't really have any other choice but to be right here. So coming to a resting point in your journey within their journey, acts as a beacon for others looking for guidance. The individual enjoys solitude and draws inspiration and energy from within, sets aside the external world in favor of self-discovery. In depth, when the hero is subjected to life's sudden horrors and challenges, they will more likely than not succumb to a part of their life that will have not yet confronted. As a result, they will struggle to keep their equilibrium. After continuously running into a wall, the Hermit calls the current when they realize that they are far from completing their quest and they must stop and examine the situation. A little, once again, little like the Hangman, but different. The Hermit asks the person to reconsider their situation and focus on their emotional and mental health. You're being asked to stop. The Hermit can also act as a guiding light for others, sharing their knowledge with others when asked. One could equate the physical and spiritual presence of the Hermit with the Celtic Druids, and here we are as we read this today, who were respected for their insight and wisdom. The Druids also acted as the keepers of historic tradition and regulators of the moral code. Whatever the Druid enacted on behalf of the tribe was law, usually associated with prophecy. Birds were a common feature in the lives of the ancient Celts. The Druids' closest avian ally was the wren, which was believed to be the universal communicator of the gods and goddesses, its songs and calls interpreted as messages from the divine. Have you been getting messages from any place else? Pay attention. Rest. It's okay that you're resting if you're if you have found yourself in a mode of, fuck this, and it's not an angry mode of fuck this, it is like, you're just like, past it. You're just done. There's, I don't want to say numbing, but almost like a numbing of, you're not, as emotionally exasperated and exhausted as you have been, because you just don't have the ability to be in the emotional drama of it. So you're just done. You don't have any of the emotional drama left in you to even entertain someone else's processes within that. So you're just sort of okay, myself, and whether it with my own emotional drama or someone else's, I'm just kind of done with whatever it is. So I've got to rest in that. So let's move forward and see where we are. The Hierophant on the Cardinal. And here we have, and once again, we have a court card. And we have the Cardinal, which is another messenger from the great beyond. So, and it's the Hierophant. And the Hierophant, which is moving into the future card, which could be moving into this afternoon or later today, because we are doing sort of a shorter, what is this for today and tomorrow, and but so here we are. This is what's moving into for the energy for the rest of the afternoon today or for the rest of the week. So you have the Hierophant. So the Hierophant represents this higher calling of being it's kind of like a priest card. It's almost like it's a priest. So or like or the emperor would be the highest father, where this would be the highest authority, whether it would be within a priest or a universal spiritual level. So here, let's see what the Cardinal has to say. It says, carries great spiritual wisdom with an ability to reflect on a problem, situation, or self. Is associated with religious beliefs and the establishment of piety and a pious lifestyle. Holds tradition and the status quo in great value. In depth. When this card shows itself within the hero's journey, it represents all the previous cards combined into one, carrying out duties on behalf of the magician, which is a manifestation card, personifying the high priestess with intuition, wisdom, and personal judgment, positively expresses emotions through the Empress and impressing the Emperor through the use of the established rules of civilization. The Hierophant is considered the greatest form of material manifestation. Thought to have been created when people look to Roman Catholic popes for spiritual and earthly guidance. The Hierophant is greatly admired not only for being intrinsically in tune with his humanity, but also for the perpetual regulation of the law. The Hierophant is often viewed as a beacon, a physical connection between the material and spiritual worlds, possessing great resourceful knowledge and spiritual blessings. Unlike the High Priestess, the Hierophant is the bearer of immediate knowledge. What is known and can be described in words, a master of the intellect. Cardinals Carnealis received its name from English settlers in the American colonies who came upon the vibrant red bird, which reminded them of the rich red of the Roman Catholic cardinals' robes, thus named the bird after the Pope's priestly counselors. So moving into what is this future position. So looks like there's something that's beginning to, there's all of this energy moving through, and you need to look into what has been here. So it's talking about moving into manifestation or home or these things. And a lot of that has to do home, heart health. It has to do with material. And material can have to do with your physical home where you live. It can do with material as far as you like materially, like where you work, your business. It can actually do with like physical material. But it is a card that is telling you that either sometime later today or at some other point, that some of these things that you've been working through, here, this, where you're just exhausted, now you're like, now this is where you are, you're like, okay, I just have to sit and just kind of wait, because I just have to rest within this and sort of collect what it is that I know about whatever the situation and rest in that at the time. And this is telling you that if you do these things within this space and you just sort of settle down a little bit, you don't get caught up in the drama in it, and that you allow the Hermit to rest with you today, that the Cardinal will be with you this afternoon or this evening or later this week to kind of make some things kind of where this has been, it looks like some of this is going to kind of right itself or kind of come to a whatever that's going to be. It's going to show what it's going to be. And it's going, and here you have the Ten of Cups, and it's in reverse. So Ten of Cups usually has a lot to do with heart, home, and love. So there's something that's probably going to be disappointing that's going to occur this afternoon, this evening, later on this week, that has to do with your Ten of Cups. Okay, so cups. Let's talk about this Ten of Cups, and let's get to this positioning here as to what all this overall is. So here, this is going to say that overall, if this continues like this, there's going to be a disruption of your Ten of Cups. And Ten of Cups represents, it's like the best thing. It's like you have everything you have. It's like love, family, like it's all there. But this is saying that on this path, the way things are, you feel like your cups are just all spilled out. Well, I'm just going to say before I read this, before I go any further, remember that even if all your cups are spilled out, they're still your cups. And remembered, they're not broken. Pick them back up. Fill them back up. That maybe the cups got spilled because they were so full of love and so full of emotion that it's time to start over a little bit with those. So here, let's read what this Ten of Cups reverse has to say. So let's go from there. Well, if I can find it. Okay. It says disconnected. And this is a European starling, by the way. I forgot to tell you that. It says a European starling. Disconnected from their highest values, the current is struggling with building healthy or meaningful relationships. The ability to connect with loved ones is also difficult. It might be that the individual has unreasonably high expectations of what to expect from a love relationship. So this is kind of saying that maybe you need to check yourself back within the drama. Okay, this is saying that your expectations are a little much, and you need to, what I just said, you still have all these cups. So check yourself in the drama, okay? Get with it, recognize what you have, and be honest with yourself and know that you are loved. But there's something you can't deal with, and you'll have to recognize you can't deal with that. It says in depth, the true embodiment of fulfillment and completion without holding back or giving a second thought. The current is living in the moment and listening to their inner guide. So this is what you want to strive for, to get these cups turned back up, okay? It says to strive for, hold on, I lost my place. I apologize. Without holding back or giving a second thought, the current is living in the moment and listening to their inner guide to bring about good fortune and a wealth of positive opportunities for themselves. They have mastered the ability to be themselves and lovingly give to others. I'm going to read that one again. They have mastered the ability to be themselves. The Ten of Cups shows itself when an individual is comfortable with themselves and comes to a place of full acceptance. The current accepts responsibility for their life's choices and knows when and where to create healthy boundaries with others. Negativity is not present. And most likely all parties in a positive mindset in a relation to the current. The Ten of Cups is a symbol of accomplishments, success, and attainment of ultimate goals and dreams. Okay, so you feel like all of this is gone. You feel like but that's not true. It's not true. Sure, some of it's gone. Some of that stuff's gone, but what difference does it make? Start over, start anew. No, there's an old saying that a river is never the same. You can stand in the river in the same spot 400 times and you will never stand in the same river. Never. So everything always changes. People, emotions, things, circumstances. You have to keep going with time. Time is a construct. And we have this wrapped up in what that is. So we can't get wrapped up in that. Go back to this energy. The European starling's presence in North America is the direct result of an experiment conducted in New York City Central Park on March 6, 1890. A group of individuals who belonged to the American Acclimatization Society had a particular interest in the works of William Shakespeare. They specifically concentrated on the 100 birds the writer had mentioned in his plays and poems. Their goal was to release each species into the wilds of North America. Backed by Eugene Schieffelin, a wealthy socialite and amateur ornithologist, they gathered and released 100 starlings to populate the conditions and continent of North America. Since then, the release eventually created a mixed breed of a bird known as the European starling. They not only successfully spread across the United States, but even parts of Canada and Mexico. The species' chance for survival seemed to be slim in an unfamiliar environment. However, it is now clear that these challenges were surmounted and conquered. The starling embodies fulfillment and success as the Ten of Cups. As a matter of fact, they have been successful. They have now considered an invasive and overpopulated species. So maybe that's where we are here, is maybe you feel like an overpopulated and unsuccessful. It's been such a success as an overpopulated species at the time. Get rid of this mess. Don't whine. Get rid of whatever this is and move forward. We're gonna that is it for this, but I'm not gonna leave you with this because here it looks like this is where you've been. You've been really like moving past this. You're here, you're sitting and waiting right now. There's gonna something happen later on, and then you're gonna get out of this energy. Okay, look at what you have, recognize this. There's something more to go, to give and go. So we're going to move, I'm gonna move this and let's look forward to see what you can do. It's telling you this is your guidance to you're not there. Let's see where you can go from there and what can make it better from there. And the Four of Wands, rest. So Four of Wands tells you to move, that you'll be moving forward and that there's something coming, to look towards something coming, that there are things coming. There'll be celebration ahead. It is happiness. It represents heart, home. It represents sometimes marriage. Sometimes if someone's looking to buy a house, or looking for that, it's giving you a positive, that's a good movement to go forward or something. But this is telling you that this is just hullabaloo. Get out of this, because this is what's really happening. If you look at this with your Four Wands, you have Four Wands of stability. You can look at them as your four posts to beginning to build your tent, or that they are your cornerstones of building something, whether it be a cornerstone of something from your heart, if you're going to start a new practice, a new meditation, or whether you're a runner, whatever that's going to be. But it looks like, just rest, let all this go. It's going to go. It's going to move forward. Things are going to be okay. You're going to be fine. Okay. All right, guys. We're going to end. I'm going to gather the cards up. And we're going to end there. I'm going to wish everyone a very happy St. Patrick's Day again. If you are someone that partakes, please be careful. You know, I'm not gonna fuss at you for drinking, doing your thing. Do what you want to do. Have fun. I just request that you get a here, 1, 2, 3. I just request that you get a designated driver or an Uber. And if you have an Uber or something like that picking you up, make sure that you are being cautious and careful. So here, I'm gonna set this over here, and we are gonna. All right, everybody, take your hands, and we're gonna come out. So take your hands with me, rub them together. Get some energy going. We're gonna get rid of that whatever's been ailing you, whether it's an illness, whatever's going on, whether it's stress or struggle, someone else's emotions, your own. We're going to rub it out. Rub. Take your hands. And now, separate them and feel what you built just by simply rubbing your hands together. Now, knowledge tells us that's just your blood rushing between your hands. But it also tells me that that's what I could do in that short amount of time. So I'm going to take my hands. If you'd like to join me, I'm going to place them together. Thumbs together. Thumbs to the heart. Directly into my chest. And I'm going to bow gently. And I'm going to thank those that have walked before me and those that have walked in my path. I'm going to take my hands and form them into a mudra, the Padra. This is the lotus blossom that I use. If you ever wonder about this, you can take your hands in this position, thumbs together, pinkies, and you're forming this blossom. You can pull it in, let it pull out. So let's pull our blossom in. So pull your blossom in, bow down, take a deep breath in, and exhale. Let your blossom bloom. And there you go. Take a deep breath in, stare down into your little lotus blossom. And I'm going to lift it up like it is my Ace of Cups. As I lift my Ace of Cups, I ask that it be filled with light and love for others. Sat Nam and Namaste. Happy St. Patrick's Day, y'all.